York.
During the week.
Well, you know, it's very much the same panel as last year. You know, we have a few that aren't with us anymore, and then we have a few young lads that have come in from the under-21 ranks that have, you know, added a freshness, I think, to the panel as well. And we'll just hope that on Sunday now that they play well, that they play as well as they're capable of playing.
But I think from the last 2 years especially, the last two games in Killarney 2 years ago and Nash in the park, I think we've been very unlucky. We didn't get the rub of the green, and I think this year we've kind of got a determination, you know, and you've got to make your own luck some of the times as well. But I think if we get a bit of rub of the green, I think we can do it, you know.
Well, you always feel that you're going to win, or you'd be quite hopeful, but you know, you need the breaks and you need a bit of luck on the day, and you know, if we get that, we'll be knocking at the door at the end of the day. We're still quite young, and I would feel maybe over the last couple of years we didn't get those few breaks that we probably needed, like, and in order to win that, you need those breaks to go your way, and you know, I would be hoping, like on Sunday, like that, I suppose from both sides, or both teams looking at it, I wouldn't say there's an awful lot between the teams. It's those few breaks and a bit of luck on the day, and to be able to take your chances on the day when they come. So hopefully we can improve in those situations.
Well, I suppose being down in Division 2, we haven't been playing any of the so-called bigger teams, but we met, I'd say, last November, and we've been training quietly since then. We came through Division 2, we won it, we had a few bad games along the way, and I suppose we didn't play up to the standard that's expected of Kerry football against Limerick, but the last 5 weeks things have picked up and we're looking forward to Sunday now.
Well, I'd say we would have to say that the World Cup has distracted everybody, and you know, but it would take a lot of World Cups now to distract a team that are playing Cork here in Killarney.
Well, the distractions are over now, I'm afraid, from the World Cup. Colin O'Rourke is raining quite heavily down at Killarney. Mind you, Fitzgerald Stadium is a good pitch. Shouldn't affect it too much, except, of course, for the damp and depressing atmosphere.
Yes, well, it's sort of gloom all around, and we saw above in Clonus, I suppose, the stupidity of the Ulster Council trying to ignore the fact that Ireland were playing in Korea in an important game. Like, that match should have been either on last night or on later this evening. You know, it absolutely shows a level of arrogance towards another sport in this country. But Killarney, the pitch is good, conditions won't suit either team. It certainly won't suit the likes of Callum Cooper, who's coming on to the Kerry team, a corner forward, like a nice try ball, sure, maybe get nice himself into the game, nice footballer. But, you know, Kerry have the proven class. Cork have a great bit of power up front now that they've Diarmuid O'Sullivan and Colin Corkery in the full forward line. But, you know, I always go on a proven team. More or less the same teams have played each other over the last few years, and Kerry have won most of those games, and I don't see anything from the teams today to suggest it should change.
Mind you, having said that, Joe Bradley, I know from being down there myself in recent weeks, Cork are very much up for this. They fancy themselves, they think they can do this.
Well, on the law of averages, you'll expect Cork to win every now and again. I'm reminded of Ron Atkinson's famous comment, you know, Cork could win it, Kerry could win it, or it could be a draw. Nobody really knows. I think that Kerry's problems are that with life after Morris, their half-forward line looks to be very uncompetitive, plenty of skill but not competitive enough at this level. And their full-forward line looks very, very small, with Crowley now having to step forward and become the leader of the team, which is a much bigger task than just being the flash corner forward in the team, finishing off. Now that he's stepped into this role, it'll be interesting to see whether he's up to it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for your thoughts on that one. So, as I said, that is the scene then at Fitzgerald Stadium, Killarney. It's very wet down there. Let's join our big match commentator, Ger Canning.
Thank you very much, Michael. Welcome to Fitzgerald Stadium here in Killarney, the 90th instalment of one of the most famous rivalries in Irish sport. It is, of course, the semi-final. We have to keep on reminding ourselves of that. Cork taking on Kerry here in Kerry's own backyard. Kerry, who hold a 57-24 lead. And look at this for everybody in the stadium trying to get a bit of protection and shelter from the elements. It has been pouring rain all through the day. The wind is rising as well. Kerry have won the toss, and they will play from left to right in the first half, and the breeze will be behind them. Dreadful conditions for the players, horrible for the spectators, about 30,000 here in all. They emerged from the various hostelries having watched the World Cup match, disappointed with the outcome, no doubt, but ready to cheer on their favourite county, whether it's the Rebels or whether it's the Kingdom. And I have to sympathise with my colleagues here on cameras as well. Trying to keep the rain out of the lenses is going to be a nigh impossible task. Let's check the teams then in any case. No changes, by the way, on either side. Kerry, the champions, are playing in their second championship game of this so-called summer. They include the O'Shea brothers, Mark at right corner back, Tomas in front of him on the wing, and Captain Dara in midfield alongside Seamus Scanlon. Owen Brosnan is now at left half forward, while virtual newcomer Colm Cooper is top of the right alongside Mike Frank Russell and of course Johnny Crowley. That's Kerry. We'll take a check on Cork in just a moment, but they are lining up now for the national anthem, facing the tricolour away to our right. And that's just to confirm the wind and the rain and everything else. Come up with a fresh looking formation as Ari Tompkins makes key positional switches. Owen Sexton at number 2, Kieran O'Sullivan is the fullback, Sean Levis has his debut on the wing, and Ronan McCarthy is picked at centre half back. It's the usual duo in midfield, but Martin Cronin is selected today on the 40 with his brother Alan notionally to his left. And there's a footballing start for Diarmuid O'Sullivan, Cork's regular hurling fullback. Ready for the action. The referee will be John Bannon. Referee, of course, in charge of the All-Ireland final some years ago involving Galway and Kildare. It's going to be tough on the players, very slippery conditions. There could be many mistakes made. So Kerry setting off straight away with Seamus Scanlon. Just giving it back here towards Eamon Fitzmaurice. Holding it up nicely there was Colm Cooper. Well, they were trying to get Johnny Crowley into the action. He's been marked this afternoon by Kieran O'Sullivan. And that is Ronan McCarthy there. Referee awarding the free against him for pushing. And Mike Frank Russell looking like he's going to come out and strike this one. Mike Frank has a very good strike rate, playing today in his 22nd championship match. Scored 4 points in the match against Limerick. Breeze behind him. Good distance out, however, and that has gone wide. Tony Davis with me here as well this afternoon. Conditions wretched. What can we expect?
Conditions very, very poor, and I think that's an indication of how important free takers are here today. And with Colin Corker, you know that he's going to get a large percentage of the frees he's going to take. Michael Frank isn't that accurate. He won't get as high percentage as Colin does. And with Dara Kinnaird in the sideline, maybe we'd see Dara introduced specifically for frees at some stage.
Yes, 5 from the Guelph Club, 4 playing. 1, as you say, Dara Kinnaird among the subs. And you mentioned Colin Corkery. He kicked 8 points in last year's Munster clash, a real tour de force. Cork trying to build. Martin Cronin possibly selected on the 40 because Larry Tompkins is aware of the threat of the Kerry half backline coming forward, and he wants a defensive-minded player to try and stem the tide if at all possible. Push in the back there, Owen Sexton pushing Colm Cooper. Cooper, one of 5 brothers who plays for the Dr. Crokes club here in Killarney. Kerry under 21, part of the team that won the Munster final.
Come on, Ronan! 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 Come on! Drop one, Kieran, drop one. What is
So, can Noel Kennelly find the accuracy here? Again, it's well away to the left, and that's 2 wides now by Kerry. Noel Kennelly from Emmett's, of course, in Listowel. So not the most auspicious start. Couple of chances. But Cork yet to mount a meaningful attack. Indeed, failing to get it beyond the midpoint of the field. Micheál O'Sullivan rising up for it, doesn't take it, however. And that's Eoin McGarrett from Muriok in Unweltucht. Strong defensive play by Graham Canty, and Canty has wrestled that ball from him. Gets a free kick as well. Under 21 full back. Martin Cronin taking it ahead, looking for support. There was support there through Brendan O'Sullivan. It'll be interesting to see just how the combination of Diarmuid O'Sullivan and Colin Corkery will make out up front if they can get decent ball. Brendan O'Sullivan once again. Nicholas Murphy was to his left. Was there a bit of restraining going on there? This is Alan Cronin. Right on the sideline there. Going back for Kerry. Tom O'Sullivan. And inevitably Seamus Moynihan coming to Kerry's rescue. So just over 4 minutes gone, still no scores. Anthony Lynch plays for the Neb Abón club and in Ballyvourney. Colin Corkery. A booming one, a huge one. And where's it gone? It's gone wide. First chance then for Colin Corkery. 22nd time to play championship football for Cork. Tomas O'Shea, the number 5 over there. The 2 wing backs for Kerry have switched around. And you'll have noticed there, Tom O'Sullivan doing the marking job. But that's again put away. That was stray by midfielder Nicholas Murphy, 24 years of age. So a pretty flat start to this match, inaccurate kicking, 2 wides apiece.
The conditions are going to contribute a lot to it. The conditions are atrocious under foot. Now, Martin Cronin and Alan Cronin are going out around midfield for all the kickouts, hoping to get the break. I think Cork will try and stop Darragh O'Shea from winning the ball there.
Fisted down this time in the middle of the field. Nicholas Murphy trying to get primary possession, beaten for it, however. Coming away with it is Eamon Fitzmaurice, man from Finoog. Breaks down nicely for Johnny Crowley. Ever a threat. Kieran O'Sullivan is after him. And again it flashes past the post. Still no score in the match. It'll be curious to see how the man in picture there just moments ago, Ronan McCarthy, does against Noel Kennelly. Kennelly capable of exerting quite an influence at centre half forward. Here's the other centre half forward, Martin Cronin. Good ball, slip past Seamus Moynihan, runs on towards Colin Corkery. Should be the first score, and it's gone wide. You'd nearly have put the money from the credit union that you'd taken for your holiday on this man here, Colin Corkery, putting that one over the bar. A mistake by Seamus Moynihan, but really it was very difficult for him because the ball is slipping around the place and the ground is extremely skiddy. Colin might have done it a lot better, however. Bit of restraining in midfield. This is Alan Cronin, young man who's emerged from Colosh to Creasry. It's his brother Martin. Intended down there for Fionn Murray. Won instead, however, by Mark O'Shea. All the O'Sheas, of course, nephews of Paddy the manager. And that is rather aimlessly put out of the sideline. And Cork will have the kick, and it'll be Graham Canty who will kick it in. Martin Cronin, 2 men against him. One of them is Aidan McGarrett. They work it away once again with Eamon Fitzsimons. David Fitzmaurice, I should say. Tom O'Sullivan belting it ahead. Johnny Crowley coming deep to try and collect. One Cork back around the house there. 2 Kerry forwards were lingering. This is Owen Sexton. We've seen him play at number 6, and for some parts of the league he played at right half back. Graham Canty. Micheál O'Sullivan now. Down towards the target man, Colin Corkery, and it'll be interesting to see how that tussle develops here today with a very sporting Seamus Moynihan. Wasn't too pleased with his form in last year's match against Cork.
Colin has started quite well on him again this year. I think 3 or 4 balls have gone in there, and Colin has won 3 out of the 4. And this is the difference between Cork and Kerry with the freestyle. I think Colin is very dangerous from anywhere around the 50-metre line.
Well, he's about 50 metres out right now. Can he provide the first score? The answer is yes. It's taken nearly 9 minutes. Colin Corkery with his first free there, being highly productive, and the Cork fans behind the goal celebrating. Cork go in front. Well, a lot of football to be played here. Not much hope, however, of the conditions drying up or anything like that. They were expecting further rain in over the mountains and so on, and the wind rising. Looks like it's in for the day. Declan O'Keefe produced a wonderful save in the second half of the first round match against Limerick. Kerry come foraging. Johnny Crowley against Kieran O'Sullivan. Just runs loose there. Still an opportunity to try and build. And the referee, I think, saw a throw, and there's going to be a free down for Cork. Everybody's scrapping for every little bit. Sean Levis there, and match referee John Bannon in conversation with Kieran O'Sullivan as well. Kieran kicking it down. Aidan McGarrett going back to try and take it. Almost wrestled to the ground the first time. Graham Canty's after him. A very good kick inside, angled inside towards Johnny Crowley. And the final effort, a little tame there by Noel Kennelly. I think he was just trying to get it on target. But it drops into the keeper's arms, and Cork can build once again. Now Ronan McCarthy from the club in Douglas. Colin Corkery has come way out and brought Seamus Moynihan out with him. Might leave gaps inside. Fionn Murray has a very good goal-scoring record, and Diarmuid O'Sullivan forlornly chasing after this one, but there was no way he could get it. Spectators now who've come out of the hotels and restaurants and bars, having watched the match at lunchtime. I'm sure some of them said, well, is it worthwhile, because we're going to get drenched. It's a day for the rain gear. Worst Sunday in the summer so far that I've seen. The wind has changed around, and in fact it's now supporting Cork. Crazy kind of a day. So can Cork make the most of it in the first 35 minutes as Colin Corkery winds himself up, swings it in, and he has put it wide. 5 wides now for Cork. And just 1 point to show for both teams' efforts.
I think Cork will be quite happy with their start. Obviously they won't be happy with the wides they have, but they seem to be doing quite well around midfield, and Martin Cronin and Alan Cronin are just forgetting about their men and going out to try and win the break, with Colin Corky doing well in around the full forward line.
Yeah, it's noticeable that Alan Cronin's doing a bit of a wandering job. Following him is Tom O'Sullivan. Right now, it's the other wing back, Tomas O'Shea. Good run. Can he finish? It's in over the head of the inside forward, who is Mike Frank Russell. Ronan McCarthy getting it out to Micheál O'Sullivan. Carried on here to Graham Canty. Dishing it outside to Brendan Ger O'Sullivan, son of Kevin Ger from the 1973 All-Ireland winning team. And before that, his grandfather was a very fine player. That was Eamon Ger. This is Alan Cronin. One-handed down here by Mike McCarthy. Couldn't contain it. There's a player waiting inside. Fionn Murray waiting inside for it. In fact, it's Diarmuid O'Sullivan. And O'Sullivan chases after it as it came back down there. Dangerous moment for Kerry. Should have been a score. Eamon Fitzmaurice, the centre half back. Cork applying lots of early pressure, and the pressure is coming right from the very beginning as Kerry trying to build their attacks from their own full back line. Cork get a free. Nicholas Murphy is going to leave it for his team captain from Nemo Rangers. That's Colin Corkery. Only scorer so far. Well, the lovely match programmes here today, as usual, for a big match in Munster between Cork and Kerry, but they're not much use. They're sopping. Corkery is 45 metres out, curling it nicely, and he's put it over the bar. It's a second point for Colin Corkery, the game's only scorer, and Cork with a 2-point advantage. It's curious about the wind conditions today. At the very start of the match, Kerry certainly had the prevailing breeze, but it has switched around now, and it's supporting Cork. Declan O'Keefe. Noel Kennelly going for it, didn't get it. Bending his back there and taking it well was Nicholas Murphy. Alan Cronin now. Chasing after him is the Kerry midfielder, Seamus Scanlon. Cork picking up all the breaks. The Cronins combining, and it's Alan Cronin who kicks it, and he puts it over the bar, off the bar. His first point. So 3 points to no score, and just over a quarter of an hour gone, and it was the Cronin brothers who combined. Martin, the older, providing it for Alan, and Alan hit it off the crossbar and over.
That's a very good plus for Cork, because Alan Cronin wouldn't be known for his scoring prowess. And when you're looking at the Cork forward, and you're looking at Fionn Murray and Colin Corkery, and you're looking for somebody else to contribute, and Alan's after chipping in with a good score there.
Well, every bit of shelter being taken up. One of the difficulties for many of us who have gone to matches over the years is Alan Cronin needs some attention. Dr. Con Murphy is running in there. It may be a blood substitution that is required. But certainly treatment is being given and is being brought to the dressing room. And the replacement coming in will be Colin Crowley from Castlehaven. Well, people are having to be patient in the crowd today, because I was saying every time I used to go to the matches when I was a younger lad, if people had an umbrella in front of you and prevented your vision of the game, well, I think you felt a little bit annoyed. But today I think everybody's being quite calm about it. Darragh O'Shea, great movement as always from Darragh. Mike Frank Russell had to come away from his corner. This will be taken by Anthony Lynch. Graham Canty, very highly rated young player. Seamus Moynihan. Kerry needing a score. Seamus Scanlon leaving it there for Darragh O'Shea, Kerry's team captain. Flighting it forward towards Aidan McGarrett. Good diagonal run. Canty goes with him. too sure of his options, and you can see Colin Cooper there just sliding away. Well, full credit to players for being able to train so hard right throughout the year for a match such as this, and then having to put up with very slippery underfoot conditions as it heats up just a little bit. Diarmuid O'Sullivan, and the linesman across on the far side, just bringing it to the referee's attention. Referee speaking to Colin Crowley. Just a little heated moment. Let's hope it calms down and we can enjoy some good football if that is possible today. Eamon Fitzmaurice preparing to take this free kick. Cork now have been able to bring in the substitute, or in fact he's just made way, because straight back into the action has come Alan Cronin. Seamus Moynihan setting up Tomás O'Shea, and it's fly kicked away by Kieran O'Sullivan from Oran in Beara, one of the finest footballers I suppose ever produced by Beara. And that is gone wide. Eildon McGarrett. Don't forget the man of the match. It's 1550 71 71 15. That's in the Republic of Ireland. And if you're ringing us from Northern Ireland, 0906 614 1010. You make the decision. Who is the man of the match? And indeed, if you are ringing from Northern Ireland, you've had a dramatic match already up there today in the semi-final of the Bank of Ireland Ulster Championship. Donegal coming through. Cork of an injured player, that's Micheál O'Sullivan, plays for the Clonmary Rangers club. Back up on his feet once again. And there's a yellow card for Kerry's captain, Darragh O'Shea. So the first yellow card of the match. Graham Canty kicking it back in. Kerry will be bitterly disappointed with their first half performance so far. Nearly 20 minutes gone and they haven't got a score. Martin Cronin, the player who was injured. Seamus Moynihan wanting to take it. Made his debut in the championship 10 years ago in that eventful match against Clare in Limerick. He played at midfield that day. Eildon McGarrett. Oh, it's a bad pass. Cork looking very eager, snatching everything. Everybody backing up one another. And Kerry's performance so far, not up to its usual high standard.
No, the forward line in particular has been totally ineffective. Once they get to the final third of the field is where we look to Kerry normally to be very incisive, and they're just passing the wrong ball at the wrong time and taking the wrong options. I know Cork are putting them under pressure, but the conditions have something to offer, but still it's very poor play.
So there's confirmation of the first yellow card against Kerry's number 8. Referee opting to throw the ball in over on the far side to number 8, Darragh O'Shea, and the big tall man, Nicholas Murphy. Stands well over 6 feet tall. He was fouled. John Bannon awards the free to Ronan McCarthy and his Cork colleagues. Fisted away by Tom O'Sullivan over there. Oh, Kieran O'Sullivan has started very well indeed on Johnny Crowley. Bad pass there, delivered by Alan Cronin, but he kicks it back again, giving the second chance, and it goes to Colin Corkery. Again going for the big one, and that's gone bombing out to the left-hand side. He's had quite a few chances. His points have come from frees, the expert free taker. But only 1 point from play in the match, and that came from Alan Cronin. Kerry about to make a change. Barry O'Shea rather, is going to come in. I think it's for Seamus Scanlon.
Quite possibly they'll put Seamus Moynihan outside because he's being beaten inside, so why have him in there anyway?
Well, Barry was the full-back, of course, before Seamus took on the responsibility, but then suffered a very nasty knee injury. I remember it's here in a league match against Roscommon. He's been out for about a year and a half. Fionn Murray. Players calling for it like Brendan Gerald Sullivan, and that's over the bar. A second point from play. Cork doing all the scoring, and Brendan Gerald from Adrigole making it 4 points to no score. Fionn Murray delivering a lovely pass in there. There's good support play by Cork, backing one another up well. And it is Seamus Scanlon who's making way, the midfield player from Cork. And Seamus Moynihan is coming out to midfield. This is the anticipated move. There's the player just been taken off. They can use 5 subs, of course, nowadays. And Barry O'Shea from Kerrill's O'Rahilly is in the Kerry team. And he's gone straight into full back to mark Colin Corkery.
But it's nice to see Seamus Moynihan out from the full back where he can express himself a little more, and maybe he give better ball into the full forward line than what they're getting so far.
It's also where he wants to play. Favourite position. He's taken on Nicholas Murphy in midfield. That's his man. Broken down. Kicked away by Thomas Sullivan. Seamus Moynihan. Familiar style of play. Aidan McGarrett beating Graham Canty this time to Johnny Crowley. Kerry looking to build, looking to get something. The backs closing them down. Kieran O'Sullivan with a very neat pick-up. There's support coming from Micheál O'Sullivan, the midfield player. Ronan McCarthy fumbles. Kerry trying to win it back. Succeed. Darragh O'Shea. Finally inside there. It's kicked in and it's kicked over the bar, and it's Frank Russell. It's taken them 24.5 minutes to get their first point. But they're on their way now, and it's only 4 points to 1. Well, once Ronan McCarthy fumbled, Kerry were able to build it up again, and it reached Frank Russell, the Lone Rangers player, and that was enough.
It's the first chance he got in the game, and he took it very well. We came from an unforced error by the Cork centre-back coming out with the ball, Ronan McCarthy.
Kevin O'Dwyer hasn't been in trouble so far. There have been no real goal opportunities whatsoever. Graham Canty. Colin Corkery. That's the substitution there. That's Barry O'Shea, number 25, gone back into the full back line as we watch Fionn Murray kick, and he's put it wide. Who's got the habit of getting some very vital goals in major matches.
He's a type of player, Ger, that he could be outstanding, or he mightn't contribute that much. So far today he's got some good positions, but he's missed 2 or 3 quite easy scores.
Looking at the shape of the Cork forward line, Fionn Murray, Diarmuid O'Sullivan, they're playing as 2 inside forwards. Colin Corkery is more a withdrawn full forward. Seamus Moynihan in as far as Eamon Fitzmaurice. The foul there on Seamus Moynihan by Nicholas Murphy. Kerry get the free kick. Referee has ticked him off for that. So a little warning for the big tall man. Eamon Fitzmaurice trying to pick out somebody in the inside forward line, but no joy. That's Colm Cooper.
The conditions does not suit somebody like Colin Cooper in a day like today. He'd like nice dry sod.
The last time I can remember a day such as this, when Kerry were playing Cork, it was a Munster final, I think 1999, and Cork got 2 first half goals. Oh, sorry, Kerry got the first 2 goals of the match, but Cork came back to win. It was a wretched day. and you can just see how difficult it is for players to hold on to it. Colm Cooper, the player who was on the ground. Ball touched as he was falling down on the ground. He really had little chance.
Kerry are failing inside big time in the full forward line. They have contributed nothing really. The Cork full back line have been on top of them, but a lot of the ball into them has been very poor ball as well.
Just wonder would they consider a change in there, having some very good players like Dara O'Kineda, whom they could bring in at any stage. They've already made one change. Little alteration in case you join us late. Seamus Moynihan has gone into midfield. Barry O'Shea has come into the full back line. Johnny Crowley is trying to come in with the ball. He's dragged down this time by Kieran O'Sullivan. It's going to be a free in. Will this be Kerry's second point of the match? Approximately 25 metres out, right in front of the posts. Johnny Crowley, incidentally, playing Cork in the championship for the 7th time. So Mike Frank Russell entrusted with the free. It's his second of the match. First one went astray. This one is right between the posts. He's Kerry's only scorer, and they are eating into Cork's lead. Now just 2 between them. So about 6 minutes to go now to half-time. Nicholas Murphy, only very good in the air, but he had Seamus Moynihan breathing down his neck, and Moynihan broke it. Cork collecting little bits. Graham Canty's final pass, not the most accurate. Kerry get it back. Dara O'Shea was taken quickly. Chasing after it, trying to pick it up here is Noel Kennelly. Fly kicked away out of danger by Kieran O'Sullivan, down towards Fionnán Murray. Plenty of players in there to try and harass and harry. Mark O'Shea trying to get it back. There's a Cork player down on the ground. The crowd must have seen something there as Brendan Ger O'Sullivan strikes it high, and the umpires decide no, not on target. Yet another wide. That's Fionnán Murray who's down there. Now the crowd near the stand saw what happened, and they started booing and jeering straight away. Dr. Con Murphy there getting into his feet straight up, and the referee is booking another Kerry player, it seems. Eamon Fitzmaurice. Just keep an eye on this to see what he's about to do. He's given him a yellow. Crowd were looking for something more severe than that. So Eamon Fitzmaurice is the second Kerry player to be booked after Dara O'Shea. I knew those hats would come in for some use, and of course they have the Kerry colours as well. Kerry are trying to dig in a bit more. They allowed Cork dominate and achieve some mastery for the first 20 minutes. Graham Canty wants to get it going again quickly into Martin Cronin. And that's a good forceful challenge by Eamon Fitzmaurice. And the last player to put in the boot was Erdal McGarrett. Went off a Cork man. Seamus Moynihan placing it back in. Well, so far in the match, Cork have made 13 scoring chances, taken just 4. Kerry have 7 scoring chances, they've taken 2. So while Kerry haven't played all that terribly well, there's still just 2 points between these teams.
And Cork have 8 wides as well, and they will not be happy with that. With all the dominance they had at the start of the game, they just didn't get enough scores. Since Seamus Moynihan has gone to midfield, I know he hasn't touched the ball once, but his presence there has intimidated some of the Cork players, and they've lifted it quite a lot.
And Dara O'Kineda is about to make his entrance here with about 3 minutes to go of normal time, and Colin Cooper is making way. Colin a little bit light, and the conditions certainly don't suit players as young as Colin Cooper and as light as the corner forward. The man for all seasons, Seamus Moynihan, was setting up this attack in the company of Aidan McGarrett. Umpires have a good look at it and say no, wide. Far too many mistakes, far too many wides, and we can put it down to the conditions.
Yes, today is a day for winning. The football really doesn't count, even though the football so far has been poor by both sides. Bad kicking, bad handling, but the conditions have quite a lot to do with it. But the only thing anybody wants to do here today is to win the game.
Yep, that's the object of the exercise, all right. And once again, you saw the numbers going up there, and of course we'd welcome your vote for the man of the match. This time some jostling and some pushing, and Micheál O'Sullivan will take the free kick, it seems. Down towards Colin Corkery, it skids away from him, and Kerry have it back again with Tomas O'Shea to his brother Dara. Drops it in first time. Dara O'Kineda instantly making an impact. Johnny Crowley can't handle it as he would wish, and you just have to blame the rain and the greasy surface. Kevin O'Dwyer, 21st championship match today for Cork. There'll be 2 added minutes to be played at the end of 35. Eamon Fitzmaurice. Pressure on Owen Sexton in there. And the referee says the Kerry man fouled the ball, protesting vigorously. Not a great deal that Dara O'Kineda could do. But he's fired up and he's ready for the action and have the second half in which to make an impact. This is what happened once again here. Went down on the ball, picked it off the ground. Crowd beginning to liven up, something that may have happened off the ball. And the linesman is bringing this to the referee's attention. So John Bannon coming across this near side. 2 players booked already. And now he's calling across a player from each team. Aidan McGarrett is one of them, and the other is Graham Canty. Seemed to take his card out, but I didn't see him waving it. Just a ticking, a warning. So just the 2 yellow cards we've had so far. Fisted away now by Dara O'Shea. Picked up there by Sean Levis. Levis, who plays for Winter Voida, which is down near Durras. Levis again. Colin Corkery looking for his options. Spotted. Alan Cronin making the little run. Good covering back, however, by Barry O'Shea. O'Shea is marking Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Sean Levis trying to keep this ball in play. Nobody quite near him. Here is Kerry player Noel Kennelly. And a chance for the other number 11, Martin Cronin, to engineer perhaps a late score for Cork before the break. In towards his brother. Tom O'Sullivan is marking him. Again, the ball just slipped out of his hands. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan firing it in, but it's a hit and hope one. And there's always support back there, and Dara O'Shea inevitably would back, helping out whenever there's a hint of a crisis. Kerry fans now roaring on their team. Aidan McGarrett belting it in, but into space, nobody there except Owen Sexton. Anthony Lynch. Graham Canty takes the heavy shoulder, stands on his feet. Colin Corkery chased over there by Mike McCarthy. And the boot went in there of Martin Cronin. Some of the Kerry players and Kerry fans got a little incensed. Tomas O'Shea, the one who was fouled. The referee just wanting to cool things down. Can't be much time left in this first half.
Yeah, Barry O'Shea has done quite well in Colin Corky in the last few minutes of this half, because he's been much closer than Seamus Moynihan. He's getting a hand or a foot in, preventing him from getting the ball.
Martin Cronin getting the yellow card for that. The referee's whistle has sounded. So we have 3 yellow cards, 6 scores. It's been very disappointing fare. And in the lashing rain, where conditions are appalling, the half-time score here at Fitzgerald Stadium shows that Cork lead. They've led from the beginning. It took Kerry quite a while to get their first score. Half-time, it's Cork 4 points, Kerry 2.
Yes, thank you very much to Ger Canning and Tony Davis. The first half of that match, 6 points in 36 or 37 minutes. Joe Brawley, it's not very good. Conditions are bad, of course.
Yeah, but 2 points from play, I mean, it's really, really atrocious. It's like the standard of football is awful. The best that Cork have to offer is Colin Corkery, who's just kicked a succession of wides and looks out of shape. And I mean, he's their big threat in full forward. At centre half forward, you've got Alan Cronin, who's got chronic sort of solo run-itis. All he wants to do is go on solo runs. I mean, it's surprising that the teams have managed 2 points from play, because the fare is very, very substandard. I mean, the Kerry half-forward line is absolutely pathetic. I mean, that lad Aidan McGarrett, and it's also half-hearted. McGarrett and Kennelly kicking balls into the keeper's hands and kicking them wide. And, I mean, it's a far cry from the great Kerry team and the Bomber Listen and boys like that. I mean, it's just awful stuff from both sides, I think.
Leaving aside the conditions in the game, Colin O'Rourke, we know that all the fans were watching the World Cup. I suspect some of the players were as well. There seems to be a general kind of depression and a flatness about what's going on here today.
Absolutely. It seems as if the sort of gloom and doom of the whole day has taken over the GEA games as well as the football from Korea. I wonder where they're sitting in the dressing room watching. I know that most managers don't want their players watching a game before they go out playing themselves, because it does certainly have a psychological effect. And on a day like today, then, it's very hard to lift it from that. Now, Kerry obviously have read the danger signs quickly, because they've got off their 2 new players, Seamus Scanlon and Colin Cooper, and put in the more experienced hands, Barry O'Shea, who should be well capable of coping with the speed of Colin Corkery, because there won't be any. And you see, you'll have power against power there, so O'Shea should cope. They brought on Darrow Canada, who hasn't done anything really for Kerry in the past, but on a day like today, it could be 9 points to 7 or 10 points to 8. He's able to kick frees, he might get the odd score, but like, it is very, very poor stuff.
All right, gentlemen, just a reminder about our phone numbers to pick a man of the match from this game, and I can tell you, good luck with that one for a start. 1550 717 115 in the Republic, 74 cents per minute is the cost of the call, or from Northern Ireland it's 0906 614 1818, and those calls cost 60 pence per minute. The lines are open until 8 o'clock tonight.
Last chance, quickly taken. That's into Craig Murphy. Yes, it's in. Craig Murphy.
Well, a famous goal, a great win for Cork. That was in 1983. Cork that year, of course, later in the summer went on to lose to Dublin in that All-Ireland football semi-final replay down at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Barney Rock doing the damage that day. Now, a reminder of our man of the match phone numbers. Cork against Kerry, 1550 717 115 if you're calling from the Republic of Ireland. If you're calling from Northern Ireland, that number is 0906 614 1818. And a reminder that the phone lines are open until 8 o'clock tonight, so you have time to think about your selection. Sunday game at rte.ie is our email address, and that's also our website on screen for you there as well, if you want to visit that at any time. Get all the latest news on what's happening in the GEA and the championships. Now a look at the statistics from Cork and Kerry at half-time. Cork leading Kerry by 4 points to 2. 10 frees to Cork, 8 frees to Kerry, 6 wides to Kerry and 8 wides to Cork. And there were 3 yellow cards issued in the first half. For Kerry, it was Darragh O'Shea and Aidan McGarrett, and Cork's wing-back Graham Canty was also booked in that first half of play. With me here in studio still Colin O'Rourke and Joe Brawley. Not an awful lot Colin O'Rourke to enthuse about in that first half, but there were 2 good scores. Brendan Ger Sullivan got one particularly good point that has to be, I suppose, marked.
When you said that we're still here in studio, was it that bad that we were going to leave? Well, this game is so bad it nearly makes the Ulster game look good. That is that's for me to say something like that now. That's an amazing thing. But, you know, we had Brendan Jarrett O'Sullivan's point, and he's one of the few players who can actually carry the ball. Now, it's not going to be a day really for carrying.
Yeah.
Fionn Murray gets out in front. Brendan Jarrett is looking for it for quite a while. And Tomás O'Shea lies off him completely, allows him to kick the point. Now, Brendan Jarrett O'Sullivan has kicked a couple of wides, very bad wides as well. Cork have missed a lot. And since Kerry have brought on Barry O'Shea and brought Moynihan out the midfield, they have stabilised things a bit and have come much more into the game. Now, the conditions don't suit the likes of Mike Frank and Johnny Crowley up front. I suppose it's equally bad for both sides. And then we've inconsistent refereeing all the time. I wonder what's wrong with Pat McEnany. Has he been sent to the salt mines in Siberia for some heinous crime? Because we've had poor referees all the time. Now, John Bannon is making an okay job here, but you'd wonder why we don't have the best referee every Sunday for the big game.
Well, I suppose the only thing about it is Joe Bradley, in the conditions that prevail today in both matches, it's very difficult games to referee. There's a lot of slipping and sliding, very difficult games to play in, obviously, and to manage as well.
I think that's right, although there was a bit more football played in the Ulster match. You know, when you had a fair, steady flow of scores from play, albeit that the conditions were difficult underfoot. I think the problem is with such a light Kerry forward line, it's basically like having 6 corner forwards on the field. There's no target man. You know, you need somebody like Enda Muldoon or the like of the bomber on the edge of the square to give the Kerry forward some structure. And from Cork's point of view, you know, relying on Colin Corkery is building your house on sandy foundations. You know, he got possession at will in front of Seamus because Seamus isn't a man marker, and he was doing that in the first half regularly. But you know, he was kicking a stream of wides. And
well, he was. But I mean, the only thing about that is he scored 2 points in the first half. They've only scored 4.
Yeah, well, his frees are very good, and I think that probably it'll boil down to a free-taking competition today, because it's hard to see, unless Johnny Crowley can get his hands on the ball. The thing about playing as a forward on a day like that is that whilst it's difficult to get good possession, if you can actually get your hands on the ball and come away with it, it's very treacherous for a defender.
Sure.
A forward, I mean, you can expect to get scores if you can actually get your hands on the ball. But Kerry don't seem to have anyone strong enough up front or game enough to get their hands on the ball, apart from Crowley and Mike Frank. And it's going to be difficult to get the ball into them.
Well, I suppose one thing that must be said about the game, with just 2 points in it at the end of that first half, it is still a close game. It might be a great game, but it's a close game. And with 35 minutes of championship football between these two very proud counties, anything may yet happen. We take another break.
Keeping it inside. Owen Liston now back to Pat Spillane and Owen Liston.
I was at that game. I remember that day in the Munster final, a sweltering hot day. It must be anyway. Ambrose O'Donovan kept running to the sideline to get the bottle of water off Mick O'Dwyer. Well, better days in the Munster Championship than what we've seen so far today. Second half, it must get better, Colin.
Oh, not necessarily. I think that when you have a game going along at this pace, it's very difficult for both teams to raise the tempo. A difference could be made if either side had a good sub to put on. Kerry have really shown their hand, and I'm looking down through their list. You know, the likes of Liam Hassett, if he was in good form, would make a difference on a day like today, because he's a good, rugged type of player. You know, Cork have the likes of Philip Clifford and Conrad Murphy to bring in, but they're the sort of players that play well in good conditions. So it's going to be difficult. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I still think Kerry will pull it off.
Well, I'm sure it's certainly a day where both managers, Joe Bradley, will have plenty to talk about at half-time. They won't be stuck for a few words.
Well, I think today is just about battling and digging in, you know, and whoever goes sailing in on the ground to win the awkward balls and gets their hands to the ball and, you know, winning frees and then converting the frees will be crucial, because it's clear that there's going to be no decorative football played. You wouldn't have any great faith in either forward line as things stand, and you certainly wouldn't pick either team out as being potential All-Ireland winners at this stage. But as against that, the conditions are militating against good football, and it's the team that battles hardest on a day like this. And you have a feeling that Cork maybe have a bit more fight in them, albeit that again, as I come back to it, you could have very little faith in the Cork forward line either.
Well, Cork are doing the extra bit of talking, gentlemen, because Kerry have been out for some while. Here comes Colin Corkery and his buddies right now. The conditions have eased a little bit, so that might help, I suppose.
Yes, it might, but an important thing too, even a small thing, is to have a dry set of jerseys for lads at half
absolutely,
time.
yeah.
And maybe even put on a dry pair of socks, because what happens after a while is your socks become so wet that when you go to kick, the whole thing slips. So really and truly, each set of mentors there should have a complete dry set of gear to put on at half-time. It would make a big difference.
On the other hand, Paul, you might be saying to the lads, you'll get no dry jerseys until you win this match. Get out there and get it done with. All right, that's the situation at half-time. Then Cork leading Kerry by 4 points to 2. Let's go back again to Tony and to Ger.
Yes, we've had a change here in the Cork team. As anticipated, Diarmuid O'Sullivan did not make an impression in the first half. Got very little, if any, ball whatsoever. And he's been replaced by Philip Clifford from Bantry. And one of the theories I might put forward as to why Cork were a good deal later getting out onto the field for the second half is because their coach, Larry Tompkins, is still serving a suspension and has to take his position. He's wearing a long red coat, and I think he has to take his position up in the stand. So that's the fresh man who came in the first half, and there's Philip Clifford. Clifford has gone to top of the right. Will be marked by Mike McCarthy. So Diarmuid O'Sullivan off, Philip Clifford in, 4 points to 2. And here's Clifford straight away. Did he touch it on the ground? A lot of players slide in like that, and the conditions today, it's inevitable. Alan Cronin beaten for it by Mike McCarthy. Comes out here to Tomás O'Shea. As you heard Michael say in studio, the rain has eased somewhat, and we're expecting another shower or two. So let's see now whether the second half will be a major improvement, because I think everybody and anybody here was bitterly disappointed with the very poor fare on offer for the first 35 minutes. Kieran O'Sullivan from our own Munster to take this. Nicely caught by Dara O'Shea. Water splashing up. It's a good surface nonetheless. A Prunty pitch. Aidan McGarrett delivering it inside there to Johnny Crowley. This should be a point, but it's gone wide. Well, they say he normally would score points like that or shots like that and produce a point almost with his eyes closed. This is what happened here again. Didn't make a decent connection. It just seemed to slide off his boot and well away to the left. The right, as you were looking at there in reprise.
He's now playing his favourite position of left corner forward, with Darragh Kinnaird gone in full forward and Michael Frank on the other side.
So things freshened up by both team managers and their respective selectors. Roland McCarthy will take this one. Brendan Ger O'Sullivan goes to ground, fouled by Tomás O'Shea. Not too many fouls. Not too many losses of possession. Sean Liebens there setting up Fionn Murray, getting away from his marker, Mark O'Shea, but hitting it straight into the middle of Declan O'Keefe's goal. Easy one for the keeper. Kerry build again. I'm sure the words of their manager will be still ringing in their ears. Paddy O'Shea, of course, a charismatic figure. Good ball down by Johnny Crowley. Darragh Kinnaird. Kinnaird today playing in yet another championship match, having, most people will feel, being a little unlucky not to have started today, but he's a man for the big occasion. Cork get it back. Anthony Lynch, former All-Star. Kieran O'Sullivan over the head of Alan Cronin that time, collected instead by Colin Corkery. Nicholas Murphy punting it ahead there, and you can see the conditions really very difficult for the players to apply themselves to. Fionn Murray in by Martin Cronin. Philip Clifford picked it off the ground. He was lucky to get away with one a little earlier when he slid into the ball and quite clearly touched it on the ground on that occasion. Mike McCarthy. Seamus Moynihan out, and now out around midfield. Brushed aside well. Good challenge that there was by Martin Cronin. Cork have the free. Shooting practice for Colin Corkery. Just an indication of the current state of the breeze. It seems to be blowing almost diagonally. Tomas O'Shea being spoken to. It's another yellow card. Well, by our reckoning, that's now 3 noticeable yellow cards. Cody, the uncle, up and down as usual along that sideline. 2 from 2 so far for Colin Cork. They make that now 3 from threes. Extending Cork's lead. So in the rainy conditions, it's 5 points to 2. Colin was out of the game with injury and little illness as well for about 2 years. But he's blazed the trail in the last couple of seasons, showing himself to be an expert target man. Fine place kicker as well. Barry O'Shea. Kerry's free. Drop down there. Frank Russell. But here they come. And Kerry get a point. Frank Russell getting his 3rd of the day. He's Kerry's only scorer. 2 from play, 1 from a free. Here he was coming in here. So Noel Kennelly is about to make way, and the player who will come in will be Liam Hassett. The panel were talking about him at half-time. Disappointment for Noel Kennelly. So Liam Hassett from Lown Rangers into the action, 6 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, that was a very good score by Michael Frank. Now, Kerry probably have one of 14 of the strongest 15 players on the field. If Paddy had to sit down and pick 15, there's 14 of them there at the moment now.
Oh, that's a magnificent catch. Nicholas Murphy. Best catch of the match so far. And that was blocked down, but the player was far too close. It was Liam Hassett who was standing just a yard or so away from Ronan McCarthy. Colin Corkery, dropped down by Mike McCarthy, goes after it himself, shows great tenacity. Out to Seamus Moynihan. Game beginning to liven up. One-handed away that time by Cork's Owen Sexton. Kerry build into a scoring position. Johnny Crowley laying it off here for Darragh O'Shea. It lands in the goalkeeper's arms, and it now means that Cork can counter-attack, but that's a bad ball away. Let's just have a look at this fabulous catch once again. Nicholas Murphy, all eyes on the ball. He's one of the best in the business where that particular skill is concerned. John Crowley. They try to get through there somehow. Liam Hassett struggling, 2 men alongside him. Did well to get it back out to Johnny Crowley. But is there a shot inside? It's Darragh O'Shea cutting through. Too many steps. They're out to Cork. Well, the Cork defence was quite disciplined that time, and they were forcing Kerry into a probable error. It came when the midfield player and captain just took a lot too much out of it. Kieran O'Sullivan bounces beyond Brendan Ger. Tomas O'Shea, quick look around to see if there's a man free inside. He's given it huge distance. Owen Sexton going back there to try and gather. Darragh Kinnaid is alongside him for Kerry. Out as far as Sean Levens. And Micheál O'Sullivan. Foul, the referee has decided.
Owen Sexton's playing quite well inside there. He's covering across the whole full back line, and when he gets it, he lays it off nice and simply.
Martin Cronin. Played ahead by Anthony Lynch. Ronan McCarthy now, the centre half back. He's played full back, he's played cornerback. Remember that 1999 clash with Mollis Fitzgerald, sadly now retired from this level of football. Quick free kick taken. Pushing the back, it seemed there for Tomas O'Shea on Brendan Gerald Sullivan. It's very scrappy. Seamus Moynihan setting off from midfield, attracting 2 Cork players to him. Opportunities perhaps. Johnny Crowley. Owen Sexton coming out, couldn't quite hold it first time, lucky to get away with it, and Cork can build again. Here's Alan Cronin. Just 5 points to 3. Early stages of this second half. Well, what a goal would do to liven up this match.
Yes, it's kind of starting the way it finished in the first half. There's no real life to it, and both teams are lacking a cutting edge. Really, without other than scores from frees, it's hard to see where the scores are going to come from.
I think the notebook's going to be out again. Just on the field a little while there, Liam Hassett is going to get a card for dragging down his opponent. Made no real attempt to put in a proper tackle. So that's yet another one. By my count, 4 for Kerry so far, 1 for Cork. Martin Cronin setting off once again. That's good defensive play. Kerry motoring well. Seamus Moynihan laying it off beautifully. Darragh O'Shea dragged down this time. And the referee, if he's going to be consistent, we know what he'll have to do. Well, he's leaving Graham Canty away with that one.
Again, that was terrific play by Mark O'Shea, similar to Owen Sexton in the card number 2 for Cork. Out in front, wins the ball in front of his man and lays it off nice and easily again.
Here's another man from Ungailtucht, Darrow Kineda. That's beautifully struck. Only one between them. Darrow Kineda with his first point. He's in there at full forward at this stage. And Owen Sexton has followed him in there. Kieran O'Sullivan has come out to continue his marking job on Johnny Crowley, who's now top of the left. Darragh O'Shea lets it drop down. Alan Cronin, fiercely determined, strong challenges. Evan McGarrett chasing after is Sean Levens. Almost runs away. It's exceedingly strappy. It's going to be a free in for Kerry. And I presume that Darrow Kineda will fancy his chances with this of tying up the match. Well, the man who's going to take it is going to be Mike Frank Russell with 3 points so far. Can he make it 5-all? He can. Good shooting by Mike Frank Russell, one of only 2 Kerry players to score, the other being Darrow Kineda. That point a little while ago. So 5-5. Still a long way to go here in Killarney. Brawley still up everywhere and anywhere. That's a fine catch. Just dropped down there in the end by Aidan McGarrett as he was being fouled. Seamus Moynihan planning to boot this one in. And slipping around over there is Mike Frank Russell. Anthony Lynch setting off once again. Alan Cronin. Right into the corner towards Fionn Murray, and that has gone wide. The referee may have seen some pushing anyway, but the umpire was quite insistent. Mark O'Shea was over there for Kerry. On his marking, it's Fionn Murray. Indeed, it is going to be a free kick, and Mark O'Shea will take it himself. Martin Cronin inside towards Murray. High, but well wide of the target.
Again, another bad wide, Jordan. Their freeze, that's only 35 yards out. I know he was under pressure, but he should have settled down a little bit more and slotted it over the bar.
Well, I wonder where Larry Tompkins is. Ah, there he is. He's got a monitor, or it's got a walkie-talkie with him, and he is linking up with his selectors down in the dugout. He'll have a decent enough view of the match anyway there. But I'm sure feeling some of the frustration that his players are feeling as well, plus the fans. Kerry now trying to take over this game. Moynihan. Johnny Crowley laying it back. The kick in there is by Aidan McGarrett, and it got a little touch, so it's gone for a 45, and that's the very first of the match. Kerry bringing out their number 17, Dara O'Kineda, to kick this one.
Dara O'Shea and Seamus Moynihan are now taking control. The last few balls they went into midfield, they won them well. That wasn't happening in the first half. Cork were breaking it or winning the ball.
Well, the switch of Seamus Moynihan is always going to work out. He's much happier out there. He links up well with Dara O'Shea. And now it's the turn of the other Dara O'Kineda. Plus the introduction of Barry O'Shea has been a very good one as well. Can he do a Colin Cork even? He's put it wide. The cheers are Cork cheers. Stays at 5-5. And Dara O'Shea has switched with Seamus Moynihan. Seamus Moynihan is now on Micheál O'Sullivan. Well, that was the case just moments ago, but O'Sullivan has taken the decision himself to come back onto Dara O'Shea. Oh, the rain still coming down here, eased for a little while during the half-time break. Nicholas Murphy breaking it, Micheál O'Sullivan trying to take it up. And Larry Tompkins has a very, very high rating for Nicholas Murphy. Aidan McGarrett kind of trying to come in here. Well, it's a hit and hope one, but it could end up anywhere. Dangerous ball. And Aidan McGarrett is in there after it himself. Johnny Crowley, angle getting tight. Kieran O'Sullivan's gone out there to try and take it from him. Good turn, great point. One of the best of the match. Johnny Crowley's first. Now showing us a bit of the real Johnny Crowley form. Martin Cronin there. Is it Martin Cronin? No, it's not. It's Graham Canty. This is where the ball came back down there. Johnny Crowley, with Kieran O'Sullivan pursuing him, made a better angle for himself, swiveled well, and struck it magnificently. And Kerry lead for the first time in this Munster Championship semi-final. Kieran O'Sullivan to Anthony Lynch. Mike Frank Russell putting in a despairing bid to dispossess him. Nicholas Murphy. Oh, great work. Barry O'Shea back there helping out, just making sure he got the vital touch. And Kerry can start again and build. Owen Brosnan setting it up. Coming forward here is Tomas O'Shea. Johnny Crowley wanting it again, but he's 45 metres out. The angle shot over there towards Dara O'Kineda comes down, and Aidan McGarrett has a go at it, but he's put it wide. The wides mount up the whole time. That's Kerry's third wide of the second half, and they're 9th in all, and the same tally as Cork, 9 wides apiece. This was the effort, and that's where it ended up. Just a foot or so outside. That's a great catch. Darragh O'Shea. Some very good fielding now in this second half by the midfield players from both teams. Hassett kicking it in there. O'Kineda holding it up. Mike Frank Russell trying to pop it over the bar, and he's done exactly that. It's his 5th point. Now Kerry are turning on the style. They found their rhythm. The team is a more balanced looking unit, and they lead by 7 points to 5. And the players like Johnny Crowley, Mike Frank Russell are doing it for them. This was a lovely layoff and a wonderful finish. And Kerry are at it again. Darragh O'Kineda, there's a trip there as Seamus Moynihan is going through.
Kerry are totally dominating the centre of the field now. Darragh O'Shea is winning the kickouts. Seamus Moynihan is running off for the breaks and the easy ball, and they're absolutely running Cork ragged in the back line. Cork will have to get control at midfield if they have any chance.
They're thinking of a substitution because of all the rain and the glass in front of me here. It's difficult to make out exactly who that is. Sean Levens is going off. That's one thing I can definitely say. And it's Colin Crowley, I think, who's coming in. And Martin Cronin is going to go back into the half-back line at right half-back and leave Colin Crowley come into the forward line. And Colin Crowley is in very good form.
Yes, and he's what Cork want at the moment. He can score. If you're looking at the Cork forward line, there's only 1 or 2 of them can score. Colin is one guy that can pick off another point.
In fact, it's Joe Kavanagh who's in there. It is very difficult to do any kind of identification today, I can tell you. Going down to try and collect that one was Micheál O'Sullivan. Alan Cronin. So can Joe Kavanagh make a difference? Remember, he got a goal against Kerry last year, the only goal of the game, in fact. Micheál O'Sullivan. Nicely taken up here by Colin Corkery. That's the score they have required. Cork's 2nd point of the second half. Colin Corkery, the scorer, 7 points to 6. He's a really big, strong fellow, very difficult to dispossess, and a very good, accurate scorer. Thought he was beginning to get a little bit edgy once more over on the sideline. Cork may be making another change very soon. Joe Kavanagh in there with the challenge, forcing his Kerry opponent, who is Amos Fitzmaurice, out over the sideline. Good kick in. Ooh, it was a very awkward one, and Philip Clifford was the nearest one from a Cork point of view. And Mike McCarthy very anxious, and indeed his goalkeeper Declan O'Keefe, to see that one slip harmlessly wide. Well, a change. Owen Brosnan from Kerry is going off, and coming on will be Sean O'Sullivan, I think it is. Both sides ringing the changes. Missed by Micheál O'Sullivan. Shoulder coming in from Joe Kavanagh, toes it back towards Ronan McCarthy. Plenty of players coming in support of him. Kicked inside here by Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Was there a push? The referee decides that there was, and it is by Mark O'Shea, number 2.
Yeah, stupid foul, Ger, because he had no need to do it. All he had to do was get a hand to it. Foul there, and it's a certain point.
Here it is again here, Phil Murray on the ground. So Colin Corkery, 4 points so far. And that is wide. It's one they needed. It's a total of 11 wides now in all for Cork. Well, Owen Brosnan, as we mentioned a little while ago, is going off the Kerry team. And in a moment, Sean O'Sullivan from Cremon will be able to come into the action. Brosnan, who captained Kerry last year in that ill-fated semi-final against Meath. A day when they only scored 5 points in all. One of their smallest tallies ever, although not the smallest. On a couple of occasions they scored just 3 points in the history of Kerry GAA in All-Ireland semi-final and a final. Joe Cabot can't do anything about it, just wants to release it. Micheál O'Sullivan has an option or two, but this is a real lottery at this stage. You see the water splashing up over their legs. Dara O'Shea thundering downfield. Away that time by the cornerback Owen Sexton. Tomas O'Shea releasing it back to Seamus Moynihan, 65 metres out from the Kerry goal, from the Cork goal rather. Darragh Kineda straight into the goalkeeper's hands once more. Anthony Lynch, 25 minutes into the second half, taking it back there. Graham Canty spotting Owen Sexton coming forward. Well, he loves to come forward as adventurously as he possibly can in most matches, but that's fine when he's playing centre half back, but he's got to be more disciplined today. Alan Cronin coming in as Brendan Ger O'Sullivan, 1 point in the match so far. He has doubled his tally. And the teams are level at 7 points apiece. That's the second time of the match that the sides have been level. Crucial stage in the game right now. Alan Cronin. And it was all started, of course, by the run from Owen Sexton, but the business end, it was finished by Brendan Ger O'Sullivan.
Yes, that was a terrific score for Cork. Brendan Ger taking a score from about 40 yards on the run after good work by Alan Cronin. Now Jim O'Donoghue is warming up over on the sideline, and more than likely he'll come in at midfield.
Yes, I think it's going to be Micheál O'Sullivan who will be replaced by the St. Finbarr's man. So disappointed Micheál O'Sullivan makes his way off the field from the midfield, and it'll be Jim O'Sullivan who'll be in there as his replacement. And also, I think I have noted that Enda Galvin is coming on for Kerry. So Jim O'Donoghue is in. That's on the Cork side. It may well be Enda Galvin.
Yeah, Jim O'Donoghue has directly gone on Seamus Moynihan. Jim is a very good athlete, and what he'll be doing is trying to stay with Seamus Moynihan because he's just exerting a huge influence in the game at midfield.
Well, there's about 8 minutes of normal playing time left. Colin Corkery ready to take on Barry O'Shea once again. Selling dummies, trying to get it onto his left boot. He can hit them both left and right. He's a very accurate kicker, and he proves it once again. Punches the air with delight. And Corkery has got 5 points. One of the game's most influential figures. Trying to rally his forces. The captain doing it in style. He scored 5 of their 8 points. And Cork sees the initiative once again. And the lead returns to the Rebels. Batted down in midfield by Nicholas Murphy. Going back to try and take it there for Kerry is Eamon Fitzmaurice. Well, it's a game that can definitely go either way at this stage. Kerry had their period of dominance, took the lead. Cork have come back. Chance here for Kerry once again, if they can get decent possession. Kieran O'Sullivan kicking that forward. Philip Clifford just about keeps it in play. Vital touch, Brendan Ger O'Sullivan. Mike McCarthy, both went in. Free kick for Kerry. Foul committed. Eildon McGarrett. It should make for a very tense final couple of minutes. Liam Hassett. They work it inside towards Dara O'Kineda. Donny sold everywhere and anywhere, trying to get into a scoring position, and Cork conceded free inside.
Yes, that was terrific play by Seamus Moynihan. Knew what he was doing, couldn't score from out there, drew a foul off Jim O'Donoghue, who's just into the game. That's where Kerry's experience will show in the last few minutes of the game.
So again, it's going to be Mike Frank Russell. See if he can level the tie. Placed in the Munster final, Bank of Ireland Munster final at stake. He's got it. Great kicking. 6 points. Leading scorer in the match. It's turning into a Mike Frank Russell versus Colin Corkery game, and it's 8-all. 5 minutes left. The crowd absolutely drenched, sodden, but nobody wants to leave before the final whistle, just to see, will there be a winner today? Kevin O'Dwyer from O'Donovan Rossa. Down in Skibbereen. Nicely taken in here for Cork. Well, Jim O'Donoghue was the player who took the possession. Cork about to make another change. We mentioned Colin Crowley earlier on. Now I think he's going to get his chance. So who's to win it?
Yeah, Alan Cronin's going off, Joe. Number 12. Maybe they're deciding who's going to take the penalties at the end of the shot.
Well, I asked Paulie O'Shea beforehand, have you got penalty takers? He said we have loads of them.
He'd welcome one now, I'd say.
Colin Corkery has gone out to take this free. It's a long distance out. It's just outside the 45-metre line. He has converted 3 from 4 so far. The cheer will tell you whether he's got it or not, apart from the pictures. It's caught inside, caught well. Out by Tomás O'Shea. Inside towards Seamus Moynihan, not a good pass. There are plenty of players around, but Kerry managed to get it back nonetheless. Little bit of indecision here. In the end, it's Eamon Fitzmaurice who takes possession. Kerry now coming to take the lead if they can. Johnny Crowley being forced out there by Kieran O'Sullivan. Huge one inside for Dara O'Kineda. Ronan McCarthy is back there. He's won it. Out as far as Martin Cronin, now operating in the back line, having started the day on the 40. Kieran O'Sullivan with Mike Frank Russell forcing him out over the sideline. And about 3 minutes to go. Teams level. Dara O'Shea. Great ball. Aidan McGarrett. Good little block on that one. And it was by Nicholas Murphy. Otherwise it could have sailed over the crossbar and between those posts. Murphy back up there again, but it's gone out over the sideline. Kerry will have it. Let's look at this block once again here as Aidan McGarrett was hitting it and the diving body of Nicholas Murphy doing just enough. Players have worked very, very hard today in wretched, wretched conditions, about as bad as you could hope to see in this month of June. Seamus Moynihan, huge one in. Ooh, it drops out, and it's dropped out off a Cork back, and it's gone for a 45. That is the second in this match. It'll be interesting to see how much time the referee decides to add on. We should know pretty soon. So Dara O'Kineda with this 45. Can he win it for Kerry here? He's scored 1 so far. A sense of expectation all about Fitzgerald Stadium. There'll be just 1 extra minute. So just a couple to go in this game. Roland McCarthy got there first. Kieran O'Sullivan was with him as well. And it's a free out for Cork. Is there to be a winner? Johnny Crowley's incensed, having words there with referee John Bannon. Liam Hassett also. They felt there wasn't justice in that particular refereeing decision. Ronan McCarthy brings it out here. So about a minute and a half remaining. Referee is now speaking with Johnny Crowley, and it could be a yellow card for Johnny Crowley for the persistence of his efforts to get the referee to change his decision. Cork made 24 scoring chances in this match. Kerry 23, 8 each. One more attack perhaps might yield a victory for Kerry or for Cork. Kerry, the defending Munster champions. Martin Crowe wants to take it. Inside towards Fionnán Murray. Trying to take on his man, who is Mark O'Shea. Fionnán Murray, is he to get a winner? He's taken down. Referee says play on. Seamus Moynihan is back there. Declan O'Keefe. There could well have been a free in there. Well, the referee didn't give it. Had he done so, surely Colin Corkery would have put it over the bar. It remains level. 30 seconds remaining of play. Well, if there is to be a replay, let's hope it is played on far better conditions and we see a lot more expressive and attacking football. Corkery has it. Playing it up here. And Brendan Ger has kicked it harmlessly to the left. And I doubt there's going to be very much left in it.
They both had chances of winning this game, Jordan. It looks as if they don't want to win it at this stage.
All eyes on the referee now at this stage. That is it. They finish level at Fitzgerald Stadium in Killarney. They'll have to play a replay. And that replay, I'm sure, will be in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in Cork. Murray towards the end seemed to me to be taken down by a combination of Kerry backs on about the 20-metre line. No free kick was given. Smiles all around. We had some good skill, but it was very difficult for the players to show us what they can really do. The conditions just got the better of them. It got the better of the match as well. But we still look forward to another game between Cork and Kerry. They usually serve up quite a bit of entertainment and excitement. Darragh Kinnaid there had a late 45. Aidan McGarrett might have had a chance as well. But I think the two managers will have a lot to mull over and think about. Larry Tompkins up there in the stand. Both teams prepared well, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure we needed to have a winner or deserved to have a winner, because they cancelled one another out by and large. And in the rain, it is a full-time score of Kerry 8 points, Cork 8 points. So let's go down to the sideline now, get some reaction to that from the Kerry manager first of all, with Fineen Muckabord.
Paddy, what did you make of that?
Well, I think a draw was a fair result in the end. You know, the conditions weren't great for football, low scoring. Two great defences. I thought Cork were extremely good in their defence, and we improved as the game went on. Middle of the field, I would have to say that Cork won the battle out there, I'd say, for maybe with the exception maybe of 10 or 11 minutes in the second half. But look at it, we're happy that we salvaged the draw out of it, and okay, we have a big task to come back down to Cork now for the replay.
Did you learn anything from today, Paul?
Well, nothing that I don't know before about Cork. It's very hard to beat them, and they were really up for today's game, so it means that we just have to be that little bit ready again the next step. We've it all to do now. I think the initiative has gone back to Cork.
Larry, what's your thoughts on the game?
Well, I suppose it was a difficult game for football, there's no doubt about that, as Paddy said. It wasn't the end of the day, a draw was a fair result. It could have went either way. We're delighted with the draw, and it should help our team. It was our first game, so it should be a bit of improvement in our team.
Did you learn anything from today?
Well, not really, only that, you know, I suppose the game being back in Cork is good. I suppose it's good for all the businesses back there next week. I presume it's next weekend, so we look forward to that. It's always a good game between Cork and Kerry, and it's good that this one good too because of the conditions. It was a good old game.
Well, did you find it very difficult up in the stand there?
Well, I suppose at times naturally you'd like to be on the field, but fairness to the lads, to show good drive and character, and that was the main thing, and that's what I asked them to do.
Larry, thank you. Thanks a million.
And thanks indeed as well to both managers. And Fineen McAvoard, apologies for the interference on the microphone down there. It's because of the rain just falling down incessantly. So they do it all again. Bit of analysis coming up. Let's go back to the studio and Michael Lester.
Yes, thanks very much indeed to Tony Davis and to Gerard Canning there. So, gentlemen, as both managers said, and both teams I think would agree, a draw probably the fairest result in conditions like that in the kind of football. Neither side did themselves justice.
No, and I suppose at half-time, 4 points to 2, dreadful game. Picked up a bit in the second half. We had some very good scores from play. It always had the hallmarks of a low-scoring game, 8 points each. I suppose the right thing was a draw. Kerry were the better team the second half. Cork were the better team the first half. But Seamus Moynihan and Darragh O'Shea took over the middle of the field. Cork have a big problem there. But in fairness, when Cork need to be rescued again, and we can say what we like about Colin Corkery, he might be overweight, he might be this, he might be that, but he's a brave man.
Sure.
He took on the responsibility of getting the scores for Cork, and he did so when they really needed it. I know he missed one free, which was vital with about 10 minutes to go, but in fairness to him, he probably deserved to get another day out.
Looking at it in the broader context, Joe Bradley, one of the things about getting draws or having draws now in the championship, with the qualifiers, the losers of the game would have to go into the qualifying round, so you're getting heaps of extra games, and I mean that the pressure is really on teams, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, although the referee blew the match up very sharpishly, and it reminded me of a story of the referee going into the county final and saying on his way into the chairman, you know, big crowd today, Seamus, and Seamus says, and an even bigger one for the replay, I hope. And, you know, he did. I mean, there were two, but looked like blatant frees. Johnny Crowley was fouled in the 14-yard line, and then the young fellow from Cork, Finan Murray, was pulled down. Two men basically got in his back. And on both occasions he waved it away and then blew it up very sharpish.
Yeah. But my point is that next day, I mean, they always want to win, but next day it'll be even more critical because the losers will go out in a few days' time back into the qualifiers.
That's right, but both of these teams need competitive matches. Like Kerry haven't really had a competitive match since last August when they were destroyed by Meath. And so they must be a little mentally fragile. So getting extra games is good for them.
Sure.
We saw last year with Galway, you know, the value of them getting plenty of extra matches, and they built up and improved the whole way along the line. But Kerry, I suppose, the one downer for Kerry is they had to go back to the team that played Meath. And that team wasn't good enough last year. Like Colin Cooper went off, and they took off their midfielder too. They're the new lad that they had on there, Seamus Scanlon, very quickly, and they went back to Darragh Canada. And I suppose you could be hard and say went back to a losing formula, but they still have Mike Frank Russell up front, and even in the conditions which are totally against his style of play, he was a class act. Darragh O'Shea was brilliant, Corkery was brilliant for Cork, but you know, it would be fair to settle a game like that on a better day.
Well, the nice thing about it is because we had a better second half than the first half, there are certainly contenders out of the game now for man of the match. And just a reminder again about our man of the match phone numbers: 1557 17115 from the Republic of Ireland, 74 cent per minute, or if you're ringing from the north, it's 0906 614 1818, 60 pence per minute is the cost of the calls there. Those lines are open until 8 o'clock tonight. We'll have more from the panel after this commercial break. Now, a final reminder to you that you pick the man of the match from this game. It's 1557 17115 from the Republic, 0906 614 1818 if you're calling from Northern Ireland. The result of that, of course, announced in our later programme tonight, and those phone lines are open until 8 o'clock this evening to help you to make your choice. OK, let's take a look at the statistics as they finished up from this drawn match in the Munster football semi-final. 8 points each, it finished up. 25 frees to Cork, 17 frees to Kerry. Quite a lot of frees obviously in the match, but I suppose in the difficult underfoot conditions. A lot of wides too, 12 to Cork, 10 to Kerry, 2 45s in the game, and there were 8 yellow cards issued through the course of the day. Now, gentlemen, just looking at a few of the aspects of this game. Colin O'Rourke, we said at half-time that the game didn't suit people like Johnny Crowley and Mike Frank Russell. Now, Mike Frank Russell certainly came out in the second half and put that one right because he scored some fantastic points.
Yeah, well, he got 6 of the points, I think, for Kerry, and 6 out of 8 is some achievement. And considering that, you know, as well as kicking points, he had to kick them with his weaker foot, which is his left. Well, I don't know whether either of them is weak with him, but in this particular case, the chip up into his hand is an absolutely brilliant skill. It's something that you're able to do with a wet ball much easier than a dry ball, because when you see it from behind the goals, chips it up one solo over the bar. Like, he had a bit of class about him. He had to kick a couple of very, very vital frees with his left foot as well.
Also talking about Johnny Crowley, Joe Brolly, he scored a point at the end that gave Kerry the lead for the first time in this game. We thought, because Kerry were on a bit of a roll at this stage, we thought they might drive on from there.
Well, they're both class forwards, and at this stage they were thriving on the platform created by Moynihan and O'Shea in the middle of the park. Actually, Kerry finished off with a much better formation than they started with. But Crowley, again, has the classic attribute of being two-footed. So, I mean, if I had it all to do over again, I would practice on my right foot. But you can see with both Russell and Crowley, the fact that they're two-footed gives them such an extra weapon in their armoury. You go, the defender comes close on the left side, you move onto your right and shoot from there. And that was a vital score at a very difficult time whenever Cork had come back into the game again.
I know that both of you, for the next insert, want to take the opportunity to eat a certain amount of humble pie because of the things you've said. I'm surprised Pat Spillane hasn't been here to add another belt to it. But Colin Corkery, I mean, he is, I mean, you did admit this, Colin, that he's a very key man in that Cork.
Well, I never said anything bad about him or anybody else, but...
he's not from Munster.
Corkery won't be asked to join the Bolshoi ballet, or he's never going to be Nuria, but...
As long as he does this for Cork, they won't mind.
But, you know, the worst thing that you can do as a back with Corkery is get too close to him when he has the ball. You actually need to stand off, because in that instance, Barry O'Shea challenged him before he turned, and Corkery has the power, he was able to shrug him off. So actually, a good back with Corkery, the best tackle is no tackle, because you need to stand off and force him to score. But if you get in close, Corkery shoves him off and turns around then, and he's accurate off both feet. A superb score, though.
Who's going to win the replay?
Well, I think it's very difficult to say. I mean, Kerry have better players, and with Moynihan and O'Shea, if they can establish the sort of dominance that they did in the second half today, in good conditions, on dry conditions, Kerry definitely have a better range of forwards. Cork are almost completely reliant on Colin Corkery, and he can be maddeningly frustrating. I mean, in the second half today, he was excellent, and with little or no help, he got the two key scores that brought them back into the game. So, I mean, I think that Kerry look a slightly better prospect for the replay than Cork do. They've just got better players all around.
Kerry, says Joe Brolly?
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that, particularly if conditions improve. If we ever get a summer and, you know, the ground's dry up, the ball is dry, Kerry have more class players. When you look through the Kerry team, you have Moynihan, Darragh O'Shea, John Crowley and Mike Frank Russell. Now, Cork haven't as good a players as that, so it would appear to me as if Kerry, even though Cork have improved, they showed much more fighting spirit today, I thought, than they maybe showed at times in the past, because halfway through the second half, Kerry went 2 up, and Cork looked down and out, and they came back and got 3 points in a row. Now, you wouldn't expect that normally off a Cork team, so they have plenty of spirit, but Kerry have more class.
OK, gentlemen, thank you very much for that. The next thing we're going to do in the programme here before we close is give you the results of the day. If you don't want to see these, remember your nighttime programme, you can look away for the next few seconds.